From moving to Phoenix to form a super team, to how his impact could take the spotlight away from the two-time NBA champ again. Here's how Bradley Beal has ruined Kevin Durant's legacy. First of all, his arrival in Phoenix means Kevin Durant will be playing for another super team, and that's never a good thing for a superstar's legacy. Don't get me wrong, KD's not the victim here. He knew exactly what he was doing when he accepted the offer from the Suns and joined Devin Booker along with Chris Paul in the Valley of the Sun. More importantly, if the word on the vine is to be believed, he even convinced Beal to accept Phoenix's offer, because there were plenty of suitors out there for the three-time All-Star. Phoenix had to replace the outgoing Chris Paul, who was told that the franchise was moving in a different direction. And that's why they were in the market for an addition to their guard department. Not to be that person, but I feel Durant played a big role in phasing the point guard out as well, because the two-time champ wasn't happy with Paul's contributions during the 2023 playoffs. For those asking, why would he do that? Let me ask you, what's the difference between a super team with Chris in the backcourt and one with Beal? Well, CP3 isn't as good as he once was, and these days, Beal's the far superior player. All this does is improve the Suns even more on paper, and that's not exactly a good sign if you're associated with any other team in the West. Back to KD though. He's known for taking the easy way out. There's nothing wrong in wanting to be a winner, but Durant's gone about chasing victories in the worst way possible, hopping from one super team to another. That sums up his entire career. Again, don't think for one second that I don't rate KD. He's one of the all-time greats, and maybe no one in history can be considered a better scorer than him. The question marks are over his mentality, because the man can't win a ring without Steph Curry, and it shows. Look at his Oklahoma City Thunder side. He had two future Hall of Famers right there with him, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. No one blamed Durant back then, because the Thunder had built that team from scratch, and they weren't accomplished stars at the time. Unfortunately for the Thunder, they didn't achieve what they should have with that roster, and only a few years later, their superstar trio went their separate ways. James Harden was the first one, joining the Houston Rockets, and Westbrook moved to Houston too, but a little later. Yet it was the Durant trade that shocked everyone. I'm not saying that KD didn't deserve the criticism. He did. He was leaving the Thunder to join the Golden State Warriors, the best team in the NBA of the 2010s, and possibly the greatest version of that team, considering they went 73-9 in the regular season in 2016. The Thunder fans were absolutely furious, and to be fair, you can't blame them at all. You see, the summer Durant stunned the NBA by joining the Warriors was the very same summer the Thunder bottled a 3-1 lead in the playoffs to the Golden State. Who wouldn't be mad? Many believe that Durant had sold his soul for a ring, and that's exactly what he did, winning back-to-back championships with that Warriors super team and getting the Finals MVP trophy in both seasons too. Despite some clutch performances, and even after that epic winner over LeBron's outstretched hand in the finals, Durant never got the respect from his peers and analysts for winning those two championships. Everyone called him out, saying that he wasn't the main man on that roster, and how that Golden State team wasn't his. It's true, that was Steph's team, and they'd already won a ring before Durant came along, so it wasn't like they needed him to win. Instead, it was the other way around. Durant needed that support to go all the way, because look at what happened after he left the Warriors. KD was tired of the arguments that he couldn't win a ring without Steph, so he decided to make things right and move to another franchise to win a ring. Unfortunately, he ended up making matters much worse for himself by moving to the Brooklyn Nets, and he brought Kyrie Irving and James Harden with him. Yeah, if you want to beat the super team allegations, try winning a ring without future Hall of Famers making up the supporting cast. It didn't matter though. The Nets didn't even challenge with that roster, and Durant was left to pick up the pieces, cause Harden bailed on the project before you could even say super team. He realized that you need more than just a trio of superstars to win, and that realization got him ditching the Nets instantly. But the gaping hole was filled by another all-star, Ben Simmons. Help after help, you get what I'm saying, right? Still, the super team in Brooklyn would fall short of the expectations. Well short, to be honest. And it blew up in KD's face again. If he had any respect, he'd stick around, right? This was a roster made for him. He was expected to lead the Nets to the promised land, but he didn't. As soon as Kyrie moved to Dallas in 2023, Durant wanted nothing from the organization, so he ditched them, accepting a move to the Valley of the Sun to form another super team. Basically, it wouldn't be wrong to say that KD's only ever played on super teams. He had a great supporting cast throughout his career in the NBA, and given how many greats he's played with, those 2 rings look very lonely by themselves in KD's trophy cabinet. Analysts feel the same way about it, with Shaq and Chuck tearing him a new one every chance they get on TNT. Those 2 believe that KD's never been the conductor of a championship team, and that's why he doesn't deserve to get the same respect as some of the other modern-era greats. There were even claims that the likes of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and Kawhi Leonard all have bigger legacies in the NBA than Kevin Durant. I'm not going to argue with that, because all those players won a championship without as much help as KD. Look at what Kawhi did in Toronto, Giannis in Milwaukee, and Jokic delivering finally in Denver. On the other hand, KD's legacy took an even bigger hit in 2022, when the Warriors, with pretty much the same crew as before, won another championship. That proved how Durant's role was minimal at best, when the Warriors went back-to-back in 2017 and 2018. Given how active KD is on social media, he fought back on a number of occasions. But no matter what he says, until and unless he wins a ring without this much help, he ain't getting the streets on his side. In fact, if anything, he shot himself in the foot by moving to Phoenix. This super team business is actually very dangerous, because the more stacked your team is, the more pressure there is to deliver a championship. So when you don't deliver a ring, despite that much help, you get a lot more heat for it. Take a look at KD's track record in the NBA. His performances don't compare well with other modern-day greats in the playoffs, and that's where the problem comes in. He's been to the finals on 3 occasions, losing to the Heat once and winning against the Cavaliers twice. The one time he was the underdog, the Thunder were completely outplayed. As the favorite, KD's record stinks even more, with plenty of first-round exits and other humiliations, by sides that had no right to defeat the KD-led rosters. That said, I feel the Bradley Beal trade can make matters even worse for him, because Beal's the type of player who has a big impact, unlike Chris Paul, who was tailor-made for this super team. You see, Beal is a high-volume 3-level scorer. He's got plenty of tricks up his sleeves, and he's not afraid to use them. In the last 5 seasons, he's been in the top 10 for most points scored, and those numbers will rise when he plays alongside Durant and Booker. Of course, having Beal around makes the Suns the favorite, but it's something of a lose-lose situation for Durant. Yes, he might win a ring with this supporting cast, but there's a real danger that one of Beal or Booker steal a spotlight, because they're in their primes now, unlike KD. Oh, and don't even get me started on what'll happen if the Suns don't win a ring. It'd be a complete disaster. If I'm KD, I'm not showing my face in public for a year, if the Suns suffer another early round exit in the 2024 playoffs. But I guess that's the cost of selling your soul for a championship. So, from Bradley Beal's impact potentially overshadowing KD, to how his arrival from Washington has already led to the formation of a super team, this was how Bradley Beal ruined Kevin Durant's legacy.